Hello and welcome to BrookesTV. I'm Sonia Raphael.
And I'm Lee Pendle. Coming up on this week's episode,
we find out how engaged students feel with the upcoming general election.
We visit some barn owls to see what's causing a decrease in numbers.
And we find out what Record Store Day means to the people of Oxford. And now onto our top story today. As you may know, the upcoming UK general elections are quickly approaching in just a few weeks.
Our reporter Guy Crosley went to find out more about what the Brookes Union are doing to get students involved and registered to vote.
#GenerationVote. This is the NUS's campaign to inspire students all over Britain to engage with politics and vote on the 7th of May. In the 2010 general election, only 40% of young people voted, confirming the stereotype that the youth of Britain is apathetic to politics. However, following the NUS's initiative, student unions all around the country have been encouraging students to vote. The Brookes Union set up a photo booth in order to entice students to register.
So we've got our photo booth here today. We're trying to encourage students to register to vote, so you can come along, grab a caricature of your favourite political candidate or the one you hate the most, and just take some fun photos with some friends. Not enough students register to vote and not enough students vote full stop, so we're really having a big push this year with the general election coming up in May, trying to get students registered to vote.
Oxford Brookes lies in the Oxford East constituency, with an electorate of just over 80,000. The 18,000 Brookes students make up over 20% of the votes. It is evident that the student vote really matters here, and NUS research has shown that this is the case in almost 200 other seats around the UK. I spoke to students about how engaged they felt with politics in Britain.
Definitely less engaged than during the last general election, because I think that there were a lot of promises made that completely isolated the students, all students in general.
I'd say I'm fairly engaged. I mean, a lot of politics and politicians I don't like, but I still try to, look at the different parties, see who I want to vote for. I'm definitely going to be voting in the election.
Well, growing up, I always try to have an input or kind of be involved in politics and at least know what's going on in the place that I'm living. But coming to uni especially, I think because the society's put on a lot of things for the students, so I'm definitely more involved in this election than I was the previous election, so I'm definitely going to vote in this election.
Whatever happens, it is clear, as many studies have found, that the student vote could swing the 2015 general election. This is Guy Crosley, signing off for BrookesTV.
How do you think the elections will go, Lee?
Well, I guess we'll have to wait and see, but I think it'll be very close. Now, the barn owl, a very well-loved bird of prey, has recently been seen less and less throughout the surrounding areas of Oxfordshire.
Our reporter Joe Burgess went to find out more and to get to the bottom of this. Please be advised, some images in the story may be disturbing for some viewers.
The barn owl was once a common sight across the UK with its easily recognisable features, but its numbers have been decreasing for the last century. We met with a member of Berks, Bucks and Oxon Wildlife Trust, or BBOUT, to find out why.
The decline is mainly down to habitat loss, so less sort of rough grassland and hedgerows, which is where the barn owl's natural food would be, but also lack of nest space. So old trees, they'd usually use cavities in old trees and old farm buildings. So yeah, those two factors are the main things, habitat loss and loss of nesting.
A massive 97% of traditional grasslands and 50% of hedgerows have been lost or damaged in the last 60 years, along with old barns being converted and big trees being cut down. We went to Wheatley Birds of Prey to find out more about the owls.
This is Freckles. She's 2 years old. We've had her since she was an egg and saw it hatched. Size of my finger, little finger with no skin, no fur. No feathers, and turns out like this in 12 weeks' time. This is fully grown at 12 weeks, and this is the size they get. We still work in pounds and ounces, I'm afraid, so this is 12 ounces, just over.
An average barn owl would eat 1,000 mice a year. The young would eat more, they grow more, they need more, so you think as a pest controller around the farm, instead of insecticides, this would be the ultimate 1,000 mice a year, one bird. So if you can persuade people not to use pesticides and use nest boxes, which are very simply built, and they do work.
As communities begin to grow and expand, we need to be more aware of its effect on the ecosystem and local wildlife. But what can you do to help?
Have a look at where they live, the area that they live in. Maybe barn owl boxes don't normally go up in gardens, they usually need to go up in a large area of land. So if you know a local farmer, if you know a good area of land and you know the owner that might be sympathetic, perhaps to approach them and suggest that they put a barn owl box up in that area is a great thing to do, because then that's given the barn owl somewhere to nest.
The hard work from organisations like Bebout and Wheatley Birds of Prey, owls have been encouraged to nest in safe nature reserves. 2014 was a much better year for breeding, but with habitats rapidly shrinking, there's still much more that needs to be done. Joe Burgess, BrookesTV News.
The 18th of April marked the 8th annual Record Store Day here throughout the UK, with people from all over Oxford rushing out to get hold of their favourite vinyls.
With vinyls now making a comeback in recent years, we sent our reporter Laurie Rothwell to see what this day is all about.
To most people, what comes to mind on the 18th of April is nothing out of the ordinary. However, for the people at Truck Store on Cowley Road, it marks the all-important Record Store Day, an annual celebration of the unique culture that the record store provides. Accompanied by the release of 313 limited edition records from Bob Marley to Slayer, David Bowie to Biffy Clyro, and many unrecognised artists such as the 101ers and Our Daughter's Wedding. Truck Store achieved the title of one of the first UK participants this year. Queues began arriving as early as 4 AM on the day in an eager attempt to get their favourite records. Carl Smithson, the manager of Truck Store, stated, "We do sell vinyl throughout the year, and I think Record Store Day has played a big part in leading that increase in interest." He further stated how, "We had a father and daughter at the front of the queue this year, so we are selling to lots of different people from different generations," proving that even children of young ages could take a shine to the event. It seems, however, that with the loss of Core Market Street's well-known HMV, many of Oxford residents have reached a loose end when approaching record stores.
I think they're really cool, but I think they're quite hard to find, and you have to put a lot of effort in to get to them.
As a result, companies such as iTunes and Spotify have taken the centre stage. But with the rise of downloading music digitally, what makes record stores so special?
You'd be able to go in and see all the prices, see all the types of music, and you could pick out new bands quite easily. Like on iTunes, you can't really do that in the same way, because it's just, you search for something and it all comes up, but you can actually browse properly in a record shops.
I like looking at the artwork on a record. You can't get the same feeling from art. I love the sound of vinyl. When you put it on the record, let the needle drop. I love that crackle sound before the song starts. It has this nostalgic, real feel.
It just goes to show, even though you can access your music by the click of a mouse or touch of a screen, the atmosphere of the local record store is what makes vinyl so popular. This is Laurie Rothwell signing off for BrookesTV News.
I'm more of an iTunes guy, to be honest. I don't even own a record player.
Brookes Union has recently started an event called Sunday Showcase. Now into its second semester, it offers a night out where students can come and watch some of the latest films for a small fee. Cyrus Mann went to find out more.
Here in Haddington campus, there is a Sunday Showcase take place in Union Hall at John Henry Brookes building. There are a series of films that will be shown during the showcase. I was there and talked to Andrew.
Certainly, yeah. So the Sunday Showcase is a cinema event. It runs weekly and it runs throughout both semesters, semester 1 and semester 2. It was introduced as part of our Brookes Presents range, which is essentially aiming to give you another option. If you're not interested in going out and getting drunk all the time, you don't want to, it's basically not a drinking based event. You know, you can come along, you can have a weekly event, or it can be a one-off, but it's just something you can go along to. Be social, but it's not focused around drinking, because actually if you want to do some stuff which isn't drinking based in Oxford, it's expensive. Going to the cinema, doing these things, it's expensive. So it's really trying to just give people that opportunity.
The event will show several films in a day. It is so many hours to go. So, how to keep the people from leaving? Andrew has a say.
Well, I mean, you know, we've gone for The Hobbit, which is obviously a very popular film. It's come from a very popular franchise, and you know, we've spoken to students, and this is the sort of thing they want to do. The Hobbit Challenge is almost what you call it. You know, there's all sorts of things you could do. Star Wars. There's loads of those sorts of films that you can do where you have that sort of marathon event. And you know, this isn't the regular event, but it's just something we felt was a little bit different and something people might be interested in. And obviously you get Domino's and pizzas and all sorts of stuff that get involved in this. It's cheap and it's just a day, isn't it? It's a bit of fun.
Is the Sunday showcase really a success? What do the participants think about the showcase? I was there to find out the answer.
I think it's a really good idea. I'm a cinema addict, so it's kind of nice to have at the university. It's basically cheaper.
Oh, I love the Sunday showcase. It's great to have. It's like at the end of the week. You know, you've been working hard all week. It's great to just finally just unwind and just relax before just enjoy an amazing film before then having to restart the week again.
The event will continuously be held on every Sunday until the 3rd of May. Check this out if you are interested. This is Cyrus Mann reporting for BrookesTV News.
That's it for this half, but still to come on the episode.
Find out what all these people are waiting to see in the sky.
And we send one of our reporters to check out indoor climbing. Welcome back. Joining us here today in the studio is Oliver and Jordan. Hello to you too.
Hello.
So Oliver, tell us a little bit about yourself.
So my name's Oliver Daniel Nichols. I'm a composer, performer and teacher, and I study music at Oxford Brookes University.
Okay, great. What about you, Jordan?
My name's Jordan Knight. I'm a piano player. I'm a first year music student at Oxford Brookes University.
Very cool. And Jordan, if you could also tell us how long you've been performing, or what you perform and play?
I perform piano.
Yeah.
I do vocals as well, and I've been performing probably about 3 years now, I say. Yeah.
And what about yourself?
I play piano and saxophone, but with Jordan I play saxophone and he plays the piano.
Very cool. Okay. And what was the idea behind Knight and Nichols? Why did you decide to get together to start performing?
We both enjoy performing, and I think the first time I met you, I think I walked into a practice room where he was playing, and I said, "Oh, that sounds good." So we just had a little jam. I thought I'd get my sax out because we were both waiting for a rehearsal for something else, and we thought, yeah, that sounds good. So we thought we'd put together a jazz duo.
That's awesome. So what kind of, jazz is a massive genre. What kind of jazz do you like to play?
We play mainly jazz standards, don't we, really? So things like Misty, It Don't Mean a Thing, Autumn Leaves, sort of lots of things like that, really, just sort of jazz standards.
Very cool. Okay, so Oliver, we've got some footage of you guys playing a piece called All of Me, I believe.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Can you tell us why you decided to perform this piece and your inspiration behind choosing it?
This piece, I think it was written in 1931, and it's been performed by many artists over the years. So Ella Fitzgerald, Frank Sinatra, many people who have been performing it, and so it's a well-known piece, and everyone loves it. So
great. Well, I guess let's have a look then. was amazing. Jordan, if people wanted to get involved in the music industry and to make it, so to speak, what would you suggest it takes?
Well, I mean, a few things, I reckon. First of all, like, master your art. Like, become a good pianist, a good guitarist, a good saxophonist. And once you've done that, you've got to look for people that do the same thing as you.
Yeah.
Or the thing you want to do anyway. And, you know, see what they're doing differently to you.
Yeah.
And aspire to be like that. And hopefully with that, and knowing the right people, you'll get the right thing.
And what about yourself, Oliver?
Similar approach to Jordan. So the music industry is very much who you know, not what you know. And obviously you've got to know your art. I think in the music industry, people tend to focus on one thing and then sort of really work at that hard and try and push that. So go out there and just do it, really.
Okay, yeah. And finally, guys, how can people find you, find out about Knight and Nichols?
We have a Facebook page,
Okay.
so if you look at Knight and Nichols Music,
Okay.
we're on Facebook.
Are you guys on Twitter?
We aren't on Twitter. I've got my own. I've got my own account that
Okay.
I upload lots of
All
my
right.
own things.
Thank you, guys. All right. Well, thank you for coming to the studio.
Thank you.
And now, a rare phenomenon was seen earlier last month throughout the skies of the UK and even around the world. Here in Oxford, our reporter Daniel Clark was there to capture this fantastic event on camera. Let's have a look at what he saw.
Beginnings of a solar eclipse. A sight that hasn't been seen here in the UK for almost 16 years, since before the turn of the millennium. This one will cover up to 90% of the sun, with hundreds of people gathering to watch the eclipse unfold.
Anyone that looks at the sun during the eclipse risks going blind. However, it can be viewed through glasses like these or pinhole devices such as a colander to direct the rays onto a plain piece of paper.
There are two types of eclipse, solar or lunar. A lunar eclipse is when the Earth passes between the Moon and the Sun. However, for a solar eclipse, the Moon passes between the Earth and the Sun. We spoke to Brooke Simmons, an astrophysicist at Oxford University, about the eclipse.
I got my first look and I went, wow! You know, I was as amazed as anyone else. It's just beautiful, and it's a way to just connect with the fact that, you know, we're on a planet in a solar system, and we all have this connection to the rest of the other planets in the sun.
The last solar eclipse of this magnitude occurred August 19th, 1999, which was the first seen in the UK since 1927.
With so many people on the streets, we asked them what the solar eclipse meant to them.
I think it gives people a sense of perspective, and maybe to think about perhaps behaving in a better way to one another, because it just makes you think we're all in this together, in this tiny little planet.
It's just great to see so many people coming out to experience some science, and it's a bit of a nostalgia thing for me, having seen it in 1999, doing it all over again.
With another total eclipse penciled in for 2090, some 75 years hence, and a partial eclipse due in 2026, this really is one of those blink and you'll miss it opportunities. This is Daniel Clark reporting for BrookesTV News.
The students of Oxford Brookes have recently been struggling with connecting to the Wi-Fi on campus and in their hall's accommodation.
Clive Booth halls have been struggling the most, with Jamie Smith going to find out how it is affecting students and their studies.
At Oxford Brookes University, students can gain access to the Wi-Fi known as EduRoam. Throughout the year, many people have had issues regarding EduRoam. However, the Clive Booth Student Village, based on John Garn Way on Marston Road, had a huge problem recently. It's a time where students are doing their dissertations, a very lengthy and internet-reliant task. EduRoam this time has failed to do them justice, which is worse in some blocks compared to others. We interviewed some students to see how they feel about the situation.
I've been studying at Brookes and lived in Clive Booth for half a year. From the beginning, most of the time I can't connect to EduRoam, and especially during Christmas holidays, I could connect to EduRoam less than 5 times, and it was awful. Recently, even the LAN system is also down. I can't connect to the internet, so I'm stuck on my assignments. To solve this problem, I have to go to uni every day to continue my work. I've tried to report this problem to the whole office, but the problem was kept and haven't been solved.
The OBIS team in charge of EduRoam are said to be bad at communicating and providing effective solutions to students who are still suffering because of this. Students have also told us that the facilities at Clive Booth Village could be better. We also carried out an experiment in order to test its efficiency to students. The speed testing result shows that the EduRoam LAN system has only 64.20 megabytes per second download speed and 34.03 megabytes per second upload speed. Moreover, it contains 25 milliseconds worth of ping. It showed that the power of EduRoam is only strong enough for the students to check their emails. So, is £149.24 a fair price when considering they are paying for this problematic internet, which doesn't seem to be helping their education? This was Jamie Smith, reporting from BrookesTV News.
And finally, onto sports. Our reporter Jack Attiwell visited the Brookes Sports Centre in Headington to look at climbing, and even had a go himself. Let's see what he got up to.
Rock Solid is the name of Brookes Sports Centre's climbing wall. It's open to all students and staff at Brookes along with the public. As well as offering courses on climbing, it's also the home to Brookes Climbing and Mountaineering Club.
Club sessions run here at the Sports Centre on Wednesdays from 1 until 3 and Saturdays from 5 until 7. But before we start climbing, let's talk to the president to find out more about the club.
So the club is obviously a climbing and our focus is climbing and mountaineering, so we use the climbing facilities that Brookes offer. Sometimes we go on indoor trip, like to other climbing centres, to just go to another wall, have a bit of a change of scenery, or go outside and stay a weekend, for example, in Peak District or Snowdonia. We've been to Portland as well. It's a very chilled sport. The atmosphere is really friendly, and even if you haven't done much climbing before, it's just a good challenge and something to get your mind off studies.
We also spoke to a few of the other members to find out about their experience with the club.
Well, it's really good fun. Like, it's good to come and hang out with all your friends because we've got the routes and the bouldering, and it's normally just a good laugh.
It's like my favourite place.
We've been doing a lot of socials and different activities, like trips as well, which have been a lot of fun, and it's a good way to meet people, I guess.
Yeah, it's fantastic. I love it. The club is very accessible for beginners. It's a great way to exercise and it's a lot of fun. So let's find out just how difficult it is to start climbing this wall. What do we do first?
First we have to put on a harness. So put your harness out and hold the big loop. Through there you'll see two small loops, so put your legs through them. And then you have to drag it as high as possible and tighten it as much as you can. And then you'll have to do the same in the loops around your legs.
Like that?
Yeah.
Now, what's next?
Now we just have to go find a rope and start climbing.
Although I'm not great with heights, I was excited to begin. Let's give it a go then. It seemed difficult at first, but after getting my footing it became a bit easier. As you can see, it doesn't take a great deal to get yourself climbing. This is Jack Attiwell, and I think I need to get down now.
And that's it for this week. Remember, all of our older episodes from previous series are available on the Oxford Brookes YouTube channel.
And if you'd like to get in touch, you can email us at brookestv@brookes.ac.uk.
And you can follow us on Twitter at BrookesTV. Be sure to tune in next week for yet another episode of BrookesTV News. Until then, goodbye.
See you next time.